Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all right. How about yourself?
Doing good. Finished I don't know, a long day at the office, but now
Yeah, yeah.
back. Time to talk TFT, the true calling of all people in this world.
Honestly, honestly, you're just wrong if it's not your calling. That's all there is to it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh,
Let me know if
perfect.
you can
Okay.
see that. Okay.
Yeah, no, this is great. So this is our first session, so kind of just if you have a link to
Hmm.
your lol chest, that's super helpful, or tactics.tools, something
Yes.
like that. Um,
Yep.
and usually just start with like how long you've been playing TFT, what your rank has generally been, if you have any
Yep.
goals. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So I've played since set one. I've played I think every set since set one. Some more than others. Except for set. I guess I didn't play set eight, and that was about the only one. I hit plat set one, and then I went from plat to silver, plat, and then hit master set four. Um, if you,
Yeah, that's
I don't know if you're like screen capping your side or if you want me to pull it over, but if you look at my set four,
yeah, I just
the
pulled it
dip
over.
back into masters is pretty wild.
Oh my
That
god,
was,
yeah.
yeah, it was a I think 13 loss streak
Oh
into
my
an
god.
18-1 back into masters. And at
Wow.
the time, it was you could get demoted out of masters. So I was like, all right, I want to keep my masters rank for the season. It was towards the end, anyways. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I was about to
I played
say,
enough games.
I was like, this is back when you actually could demote, and then they were like,
Yeah,
oh, we don't want that anymore. Yeah, this is quite the canyon. Well,
yeah. So that was a fun one. But yeah, since then I haven't been able to hit it again. Typically, I'll hit diamond if I play enough games. Like you'll see, there's a lot of like mid plats and then diamond fours.
hmm
A lot of times, what happens is I'll hit diamond and then fluctuate a lot in diamond.
hmm
Um, like this set, I've I've played a lot of games this set. I'm at almost 600 on this account, and I've got like 30 or so on my alt.
yeah, that's a
Um,
decent amount of games.
so good number of games. I've been let's see, what is it? This one? Hit diamond back in like December 15th, and I've been there since. I think I peaked at like diamond 299 LP
Okay.
day. So I'm just kind of stuck. Pretty obvious there. I think I know some of my weaknesses just from like looking back at some of my games.
hmm
I think I roll too much sometimes, uh, especially with this set in the way that um, hitting the anomaly and trying to get your carries and everything on stage four.
hmm
Sometimes I feel like I'll roll too much and then continue to roll before hitting the anomaly, so I never get my econ back and just kind of get stuck unless I, high roll. Um, that's probably one thing, and then yeah, we'll see some stuff. I've
Yeah.
got a few things.
No,
So
absolutely. No, that is all very helpful. I appreciate all of that. And yeah, thank you for already sharing screen. So yeah, looks like, oh yeah, and we're already hopped
yep.
into a game. So yeah, whenever you're ready.
So this is from yesterday.
Okay.
So this should be on this
New patch.
patch.
Yeah.
Um, so
All right, and we are in Component Anvil's portal. Can check Academy here if we are interested in doing such a thing. Whoa, your cursor is so weird. Okay.
if it turns red,
Uh-huh.
that's like my actual cursor. Like
Yeah.
my actual red cursor sometimes shows in the game
Mhm.
until like I click inside. So you see that. That was
Yeah. But okay.
also just make it a little bigger.
Oh yeah, you check. Can you go back and pause there? I saw you checked Academy for a second, and then the second I looked over there, you scrolled off of it. So yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty fast.
yeah, it's right. It's like
Is
right
it
about
right
here. Yeah, it's like you're about to do it. Beautiful. Okay, Krongar Deep Blade and the Redemption.
Not my favorite.
Yeah.
Not my favorite.
Yeah, not amazing. It's I mean it's workable, but yeah, not
Yeah,
amazing.
my thought from here is probably a Renata game,
Mhm.
but as you'll see, that does not pan out. So, but a Leona 2-star I felt like was pretty good. Oops.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, as far as your opener, and I mean your items are also fantastic to play into Renata. With the buff, not like this patch, but the previous patch where they moved it to like the 6. There's no 8 visionary anymore, only 6 visionary. I feel like this comp caps out so nicely whenever you hit 6 visionary. So yeah, I think it's a solid line. If you're considering that line, I mean, I definitely think you should scout the lobby. If you're at a point where you're going to take like a committal augment, then it's a good thing to scout the lobby. Okay, and then augment here. So I mean, Survivor. I mean, I'm just not a fan in general
I'm
of
not either.
augments that you that don't do anything for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably not Survivor. Crafted
I think that's the
crafting.
first one I re-roll.
Yeah, I mean, I completely, I think that makes perfect sense. Crafting is an interesting idea because we do have these 2 anvils, so like we're going to be guaranteed to be able to slam like 2 items here. We probably want to be like using these rolls on like level 6, and so if we in level 5, level 6 on the Renata comp, so like this can be some amount of free refreshes. So I don't think that's bad, and like kind of in a similar way, Iron Assets is like it's solid, but like when you are in an opener like this where you already have all these anvils, I feel like I value it lower just because like going from 2 items to a 3rd item isn't as big as say we're in this spot without the anvils. We could potentially go from 1 item to 2 items with the slam. So I actually value Iron Assets a little bit less here because of the portal that we're in, and value crafting a little bit more. And I mean, I haven't taken crafting that much, but I've heard that people rate it like okay. So I think it's definitely something that I would lean towards in this spot. But yeah, let me know like what you're thinking looking at these, because it looks like
Yeah,
you
no,
want to refresh that.
yeah, that was kind of my thought is so so like I said in this spot, I was like, this feels like a Renata game. And with that being the anvil portal, I was like, okay, this is free rerolls. Like I've already got items, free rerolls. Like
the world has seen enough darkness.
So I was like, this is just the best that I've got. And with the spoon, obviously, like if I'm wanting to do Renata, spoon is not great.
Yeah. It's not amazing. Yeah, it's econ to get you there. I would definitely say, just I mean from rip, I would not. I mean, once you make the Shojin, it's not like you're committed to Renata or anything like that, but it certainly seems like in your mind, you're kind of like mentally committing to Renata. You should definitely do a full lobby scout here and see what the lobby actually looks like. Because like, for example, you're not making Shojin and then not making other stuff. But like, I think you certainly if you had the option to make like a Nashers here, you would have looked at making it. And like, if you make Shojin Nashers here and then you scout and realize that like Renata's contested, that you can't play Renata, then I mean, your out is like Dominators, or like Sorcerers is like fine. But like I definitely, like, before we really commit to a line here, want to just do a full scout of the lobby and see what the lobby looks like. You can even, I mean, Diamond, it's like I was thinking you could like call your comp, but like it's kind of it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss in Diamond, because some people will just troll their games and be like, oh, you called Renata, well now I'm gonna hold Renatas. Once you get to like Masters and like GM, you can do that, and like people will mostly like not troll their own games. But Diamond, it's on the edge. I would say it's kind of sus. So you probably don't call the comp, but scouting.
I'm pretty against hard, like trying to contest really hard in this. Like I just low rolling feels so bad when you are contesting people, and you'll see I end up moving out of this. So here's another thing for me is sometimes I think I prioritize certain items as like good, like really slammable items early on. Like Shojin to me feels like a really slammable item. That's why I didn't have any issues, like because here I wanted the Shojin and Nashers, but I didn't get the Nashers here. So I think I ended up going Rod here.
Yeah, you take a Rod here.
Yeah. And then slam the Shojin, because I feel like Shojin's like it can go between a number of different comps. It may not be as strong as I feel like it is, but it seems like a very slammable item to me, which is why I slammed it and not anything else, because I still wanted the Nashers. Sunfire was probably a good slam just for early strength, but like I said, I wanted the Nashes, so I didn't really slam anything else.
Yeah, my thought with these items is I like making the Shojin, but in the second anvil, you can pick up belt there, and I'd rather just pick up the belt here, and then you can make Sunfire, and still then you'd be Sunfire with belt open here instead of having like the rod open, and then you'd have the I mean, you'd still have Nashers open, but then you'd also have the Sunfire made at this
Yeah.
point, which would be, especially because you have a Leona 2 at this point, you should like I would prioritize much higher like making that Sunfire. And I think you scouted and you saw there was somebody who had a Renata with Shojin. Was that what
Yes, there was at least one person that was going Kim, like this guy right
this
here.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, and he had I couldn't tell if obviously I can't really tell yet if he's going just straight Kim or
Hmm.
but even, like regardless, it's like not great to contest. And I think there ended up being another person. I don't know if it was now or later. I think another person had some Renatas, so I was just like, I didn't have Singed. I didn't have any other like pairs of anything, so I was like, strength wise, I had a Soda 2 or
Lux
a
2.
Lux 2. Sorry, yeah, and I just like, okay, I think it's just better for me right now.
Yeah, I mean, this ends up being a pretty solid board. I would say in the last round, you can even just think about leveling up and playing Visionary on that board and then keeping the Renata, and then you get to kind of like keep your options open. Because like now, we've kind of like there's no way that we're playing Renata from this spot
Yeah.
because we sold off our Renata. We have the Leona 2 or whatever, but like, like we're very unlikely to actually play Renata. And so like that, it feels a little bit bad losing that kind of like out. But I mean, yeah, not the end of the world. I think you kind of have to make 10 here. It feels bad, but yeah, you have to do it. I agree. Or else you are just going to be broke forever. And okay, so we have Rod open here. We have Sunfire plus Shojin slammed. And like, I would say we're just looking at playing like a straightforward AP game. Just like likely Sorks, I would say, just because that feels like a very, very solid like default AP line. But maybe something else we'll see. And you have to make the JG here just to get the slam down. I think that's solid. Yeah, the other option was Swain off Carousel with Chain. And then you get the Swain, which is the big difference. I think I would have leaned towards that just to guarantee the Swain. I think this is like second best. But just like the Rod can kind of be anything. Like you make JG now, but it's also like who really like making the slam actually doesn't matter that much because we've lost 2-2 and 2-3. Like we're not going to 5 streak ever here because we've lost 2 fights. So I don't actually mind maybe even losing a couple more fights without slamming the JG and then getting the Swain, which is just such an important unit to have if you end up actually playing around Sorks, which like I said, I do feel like is kind of like the default line from this spot here with Lux 2. Leona you can play for a while. So yeah.
I remember this spot I positioned because of a Caitlyn on another board. This feels really bad. Having Lux just go straight after
the Scar. Yeah, it's tanking
Scar.
forever. Yeah. I mean, once again, not the end of the world. Win or lose this fight, it doesn't really make a huge difference. But yeah, trying to save some HP is good. But yeah, I mean, we have 6 refreshes. We're going to get some more items down the line. There's a Zyra, which is nice. Maybe like GP for form swapper later. I mean, you're going to play this Leona for a while, probably. And yeah, you're also holding on to, like, we have these Irelias, like, we have potential to play other stuff, like, holding these Vexes. We'll see. I mean, we're probably going to have to sell some of this stuff, but there are actually a decent number of lines open to us at this point. But I would definitely lean towards, I mean, before I sell anything, I would sell that Leona just because, under what world are we actually making a Leona 3 this game? I don't think it's very likely at all. So I'd much rather actually hold on to like Vex pair there because what if next shop you get like a Zoe or something? Then what was the unit that we just sold there? I didn't.
that was a Singed, I think.
Okay, yeah,
like a singular Singed.
Yeah, I mean, once again, would prefer to yeah, it was Singed, right? Yeah, once again, would prefer to sell Leona over the other stuff. Like, yeah, I'm never making Leona 3
I end up
here.
selling her later.
Yeah,
I end up selling her later. To be honest, I really don't even like Leona in general as a unit.
Yeah.
The only reason I keep her on the board is because she's a 2-star. But you'll see in some of these fights, she just dies. Like,
yeah, no, she kind of
does
sucks.
nothing.
She kind of sucks. I mean, she's your best tank right now, but she kind of sucks. Like a 2-star 2 cost should be better than this Leona is for you.
Yeah.
All right. Restart mission, eye for an eye, placebo. I mean, I'm down to see what you do here. My thought going into this is like we have a pretty decent board already, so restart mission doesn't do that much for us. Like, yeah, you can hit some stuff. But we have a 2-star 2 cost. Like, I think this is like past the threshold of like a weak board that you want to take restart mission with. And then placebo. Oh, there's the the edge. Yeah,
Love that.
yeah. The if it'll usually just play the one. But yeah, like so yeah, like restart mission, and then placebo. I would also lean away from this just because it's double econ augment. You already have this econ augment that also synergizes with an augment that is going to give you items. So eye for an eye feels pretty yeah, just straightforward here. Synergize with your augment, and it's going to give you items. So yeah, I think this makes perfect sense. And I mean, we're not like weak, so I mean, I guess we don't have like it's not like we're gonna farm, insane eye for an eye value, but our board's not like insane here. And you could even do what you're doing here, which I think is pretty reasonable. Just you can look at like potentially not leveling in this spot. I would actually.
I think I messed up here, and I should have kept the Darius in, so the Leona, and kept something else to make 50. I was looking at this earlier, and I was like, that doesn't quite make sense, especially if I'm doing eye for an eye. The Darius is gonna die a lot easier, whether I win or lose. So it's just another guarantee.
I think you can just I think you just do this exact same board, but like what you had, Darius over Scar, and then you can make gold. You get to keep the Leona here because like I like having the Leona on my board just so that I'm not just gonna like die like and take a billion damage. But like even though you take eye for an eye here, I think like how you're playing here is fine. Like you don't have to like full open from this spot because you're gonna take so much damage. So yeah, like I think playing strongest board here and just saving some amount of HP is fine. You're kind of down 2 augments at this point, so like you are still going to probably lose a decent amount of fights, and once again, like you said, this Leona unit is just not very good. So like you'll be fine. You'll still lose a decent number of fights, which is like, and have all your units die, which is I guess what you're like really excited for in this spot. And okay, carousel here. I mean, ideally we would just get like a good unit for our board. There's nothing that crazy here. There's like
I don't remember why I went for that.
Yeah,
I think what was okay. I think I was too focused on the academy. Like I knew it wasn't good, but I think I was too focused on like, okay, if I'm going academy with this, that gives me an IE to go with the Deathblade. I can put on Ezreal or Jace, but it ends up not being great.
Yeah. So
even there, I'm like, what am I doing? Like this is, I'm just like, this was not smart.
Yeah. So in your head, you're thinking about, or maybe you wanted to lean academy, and then after, like you're thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, I would lean more towards Sorks just because I feel like your items are better for it. Like Shojin is not, amazing on Heimer. It's good in a pinch, but you can put it onto him. And same thing with Nashers. I tend to not like double I tend to not like double mana on Heimerdinger just because I feel like he doesn't do enough damage. Whereas I feel like with Sorks, getting all this AP. I also, now you have like Swain Pair. Like I would really consider just playing, a Sorks game from this spot. I feel like it is just your most straightforward angle by far. I mean, you can do a lobby scout and see how contested stuff are. If maybe if there's like multiple Sorks players and nobody is playing towards Heimerdinger, you can think about it. But yeah, I mean, I think Sorks makes a lot more sense here. But we'll see. We won the last fight. We won this one. So we have a little bit of a streak and like some amount of gold here. We're not like rich. Swain 2, Nami. I mean, come on. Like, come on. We got to play Sorks from here now. Like it feels so easy. I mean, you could even like after Swain 2 here, I would like start team plannering out Sorks, or maybe you're a beast and you don't even need to team planner. But I mean,
sometimes
I have Boomer APM,
I don't have any team planners set up. None default. I'll make stuff kind of as it's going, just so I don't miss you. Typically, I'm not like super deep into team plannering.
Okay, so at this point, you are gonna you're kind of committed in your head to playing like the reroll version of Sorks. I mean, once again, like I think doing a scout of the lobby just to see like, is anyone else holding a lot of like Swains? Like I haven't seen any in the fights that we've played, but I definitely think it's like something kind of necessary to do in this spot, just because like if you randomly end up contested, it's gonna be quite bad. So yeah. All right, and then last augment here. I mean, the upside to max cap is that you do just get to like hit your board right now. The downside is obviously like we took an econ augment that's going to give us more econ, and so like this will make things a little bit harder. I mean, I don't think blinding speed really does much for you. Wand overflow is like okay, but I mean, we have so many damage items that wand overflow doesn't even feel that great. Like if you had a lot more tank items and we were going to go like, triple item Swain and then like triple item like Garen and then wand overflow on like a duo carry of like a Zoe or something, I would like it more. But yeah, I mean, I think max cap is actually like, I mean, I think it's the best option you have of these. Yeah, I mean, my issue is just like we like max cap. I mean, it's just going to guarantee that you hit your board here, 62 HP, and I would definitely like to guarantee hitting my board in this spot here. But
Mhm.
okay, we refresh into Coronation, Calculated Enhancement, Blazing Soul, and then the Calculated Enhancement. I mean, you have so much AP on Sorixu, and the AD is completely wasted, so I think we can definitely lean away from that. Blazing Soul, I think, similarly kind of waste some of the AP, but at least you get the like attack speed piece of it, which is kind of nice. And then Coronation, I mean, I think like it has been nerfed. I still think it's pretty solid. Getting extra slot on this board does actually a good bit. So, I mean, I think Coronation seems like a pretty free pick to me here. Yeah, just a,
So
uh huh.
so coronation is what I end up going with. So max cap just feels in, and this is just kind of my perspective on it. Max cap just feels kind of bad to me. Just I get hitting the board,
Hmm.
but capping at level 7 with how aggressive people are with leveling it, in my opinion, just feels really bad just being stuck at 7. And
Hmm.
then I guess in that position, it's like, okay, I'm no longer playing for first.
Yeah.
Like if I just want to get a top 4, I'll take max cap. And maybe that's a mindset I need to kind of get used to. I think sometimes, especially lately, I've been a lot of, first or eighth kind of stuff. So, so I normally wouldn't take it just because of that, but I can kind of see that. Any of these, like the ones like Wand Overflow, I never take those almost, unless it's like the only option I had out of any reroll. It's like one, oh, that's 5 rods. Never mind. I can't read. I'm a TFT player. Um,
True.
disregard. Yeah, never mind. Yep. I see it now. But yeah, so I take coronation.
Yeah.
I
No.
like coronation a lot because units are great.
Yeah. No. I agree. I think it's I think it's good here, and yeah, I don't think there's any reason not to take it here. And yeah, getting extra slot in is uh
Okay,
is good.
what are your thoughts on items here before I slam these? Because when I look back at them, I'm like, I don't know about what I just did.
So let's see. You need because like Academy is going to come off of this board relatively soon, so you're going to need like a third tank item for the Swain. I mean, the most straightforward one here would just be Steadfast Heart. You already have Heal Cut made. You are lacking MR Shred at this point, so that's something else to kind of like keep in mind here. So I mean, yeah, the only downside. I mean, yeah, I like Steadfast Heart, and then you have like You have either Guardbreaker or JG open, maybe even just Guardbreaker. Yeah, maybe like Steadfast Heart. Then you have Guardbreaker open as another slam, and then you are left with Rod Tier, both of which can end up being like either Static Shiv or Spark. And then you will have those built. So that's what I'm looking at slam wise here.
Gotcha. Yeah, looking back, what I do slam, I'm just like, what I disagree with what I slam here for sure. I
Guardbreaker,
think I think what I'm thinking is
Crown Guard,
more.
Hodge. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I mean, like, yeah.
I think I'm just thinking more like more backline damage for whatever reason instead of kind of like you're saying. I kind of just need some more front line.
Yeah, I mean, I think Steadfast Heart is pretty reasonable. Or yeah, Guardbreaker, I mean, is just a reasonable slam to make. Okay, let's pause here to talk, and then we can talk about rolling.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think, like I said, I like Guardbreaker Slam. It's great onto Zoe later. Just good, pretty good in general in this comp. It's just a good item. So I think Guardbreaker is quite reasonable. Crown Guard, my like the downside and why I like the Steadfast Heart over Crown Guard is that it leaves Rod open. Like making Crown Guard kills your Rod off, and this is a comp that I mean you can build like every Rod item basically in this comp.
Hmm.
So like you can be really excited about that. Whereas Glove, like I mean, it can end up being JG, which is nice. But the downside here to this triple slam is that like we end up like maybe I could see Guardbreaker and then Crown Guard and then leave Glove plus tier open on the Hodge. But like slamming Hodge here means that we lose our MR Shred component in like what would end up being Static Shiv. We lose our Glove that could end up being like a JG. Tier is also like Tier is just so good in this comp. It's either MR Shred from Shiv, or it's like a mana item for like a duo carry, or it could even like worst case be like something like a Vow or Redemption, which is like a mana frontline item, which is good on these frontliners who care about casting a lot. And so like yeah, I feel like when you're making items, I would just say like think a lot about like what components are really important in your comp and then like play around that. I think making Hodge is just like wasting one of the best components, like probably the single best component in this comp tier, to make an item that, I mean, doesn't really, the healing is completely wasted on Nami. Obviously it does something, but it's much lower
Yeah,
value than it would be on a Vi or something like that.
fair enough.
But okay, and then also
Oh,
the
another
double
one.
edge. It's when you pause sometimes. If you want to
Yeah.
guarantee that you don't, you can click the button to open just the video of this, like the actual file on your computer, which
Oh, okay, I
like
got you.
which is yeah, maybe helpful. Okay, but then also I think you do kind of a weird thing, and like you were doing it a little bit last round as well, where like we rolled a bit on 7, didn't actually really hit anything on 7 that made our board stronger, and now we're thinking of pushing 8. Um, I wonder, I mean, just if you remember your thought process, why are
hmm
you like, why kind of that switch up where we like rolled a bit on 7 and then we decided to push 8? Like, what's the,
I
yeah.
I think the roll on 7 was like, I was wanting to use just a couple rolls to see if I could get a little bit of an upgrade, but I didn't want to use all of my rerolls because I wanted them for Zoe. On 8, I was thinking higher odds for Zoe. That was pretty much higher odds for Zoe and LeBlanc, and that was pretty much it. And the fact that I had rerolls, I wasn't using money to roll. So
hmm
I was like, well, I've got a bunch of rerolls and I've got enough money that I could to start if I hit things. But you know,
Yeah.
I think that's another thing, kind of like I was talking earlier with like the anomaly. I feel pressured to basically, unless I'm already doing a reroll comp, I feel pressured to kind of be level 8 on stage 4 to hit units that should be carries before the anomaly. So
Yeah. I would just say, like, in your spot here, like, you you don't really have enough gold. Like this round 4-3, you don't really have enough gold to push 8. Like you go 8 here and you have 25 gold. And you have, 13 refreshes, which is nice. But if you hit a Nami, that brings you down to 22 gold, and then boom, you have your Nami too. But like then if you're actually trying to find Zoe, I mean that's 12 gold for the Zoes. So
mhm.
that brings you, down to 10 gold. And then that's assuming that you hit 3 Zoes in, the other rest of the rolls, like the 10 rolls or 11 rolls after you hit Nami, which is not that likely. Like likely you'll have to, if you really want to get to Zoe 2, dip into like actual real rolls here. Like you're not that likely, I don't know what the exact,
Yeah,
you could math it out and see what the exact percentage is for you to hit Zoe 2 here. But I mean, I would bet that if you roll 13 times, you maybe find Zoe pair, but it's unlikely to hit Zoe 2. Sometimes you'll high roll it. But you also have a lot of other stuff that you want to find, right? You want to find like emissaries on this board is the variant that I would end up playing. So you want to find stuff like Garen 2, because right now your front line is like not amazing. Like we
hmm
talked about this Leona unit, not great. Like you really kind of rely around stuff like Garen or like Elise as well as like frontline options in this comp, and like you need to be able to get to that. And if you really then think about like, okay, I need 12 gold to hit 12 gold is a 2-star 4 cost, and I'd need like Garen 2, Zoe 2, or like Garen 2, Elise 2 to feel good about this board as we get later into the stage where most people are hitting 2-star 4 costs. We only have 25 gold right now, so we have to then find 3 Garants and 3 Zoes in 13, our 13 rolls, which is just not going to happen realistically. So like if you wanted to take this like fast 8 style line, I think there's like a few other ways we could have gone about it. Like one, we could have just not rolled on not rolled on 7, which just would have given us more refreshes to use on level 8. I think you could also if we go back to 4-2, let's just look at your 61 gold here. Yeah, I mean we're really not reasonably rich enough to 4-2 it, so I don't think that's reasonable. So I mean, I think in your spot, because like we're not very rich, we have like this kind of econ augment in the extra rolls one, but it's like it's not like you don't actually get more gold here, and you do need gold to buy units. So you probably do just have to sack 2 rounds here. The other option though that I thought we were gonna go down, watching just how you played, is just like a reroll version of this comp. Just because like we already have 3 like going into 4-1, we had 3 Swains. I think we had 1 Nami. Now we have 2 Namis. Like we've hit a decent amount of Swains, which like tends to be like the main carry in the real version in this comp, and then you can like duo carry Nami as well. So like I feel like your angle to play reroll is pretty good. The only thing is like maybe you want to switch it up when you hit coronation, just because you get a lot of value out of pushing 8 here, I guess. like I can kind of see that logic, but like if that's the case, I think the 4-3. I mean, I just think you're too poor to 4-3 it. I think if you take coronation here and you're like, okay, now I really want to push 8 to get that value of just pushing level, like I see it, but then like we really need to like honestly sack like one more round and then 4-5 it to actually have enough gold to hit our board.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, I think there's a thing coming up too that you'll see when I do this roll down.
Okay.
So first off, you mentioned emissary.
Hmm.
Every time I've played emissary, I'm just playing it wrong, which is highly likely, or it always feels bad for me. I don't recall the last time I've had like a good emissary game. So you'll see in a minute. I get a Garen, because I keep rolling. Like here, I rolled so far down. Maybe it's not this round. Maybe it's the next round that I get it. But I get a Garen, put it in, and forgot the emissary crossover.
Yep.
So I kept it in for a round, lost emissary, and then took it out the next round.
Yeah, that is the awkward thing about this comp is like, I mean, I think Emissary Sork's like, especially in your spot, I mean, you can fit everything. You can fit 6 Sork for Emissary in your setup. So like I see, no reason not to play that version of the comp. So like that's one thing that I'm kind of like, excited about in this spot. And yeah, that is just like the kind of hard part here is that like, yeah, you can't actually play. Yeah, like you can't do this until you end up actually hitting the rest of your emissaries. But like, you're skipping stuff like Tristana's. Like it seems like you're. I mean, it sounds like yeah, you're just like a bit of an emissary hater.
Yeah, I'm quite anti-emissary,
Mhm.
TBH.
Yeah, I mean, I would just.
But I've lost to it, so it's like it's not that I necessarily think that it's just like completely terrible.
Mhm.
I just don't think I'm good at playing it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's probably the comps. I'm just not putting good enough comps with good items on them.
Mhm.
I don't know. So it just feels kind of bad for me.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is just though, like, if we're gonna play Sorks, I mean, I feel like you kind of have to be open to play Emissary because, like, outside of that, I mean, what else? I mean, I guess like you can play like some Black, like here, we're playing some Academy units, but like, Academy doesn't really do anything on our board, and it's gonna do even less. Like, I mean, it's not doing much for like Lux right now or Leona right now or anything like that, but it's just like, the academy units I feel like are doing barely anything on our board, whereas 4 emissary gives us so much more of everything, mana generation, more frontline, just everything that you could want in this setup. So like when you're thinking about just kind of like traits to fit on this board, like yeah, I mean it sounds like emissary is a particular blind spot for you where you just yeah you're an emissary hater, but like when you're kind of thinking about like what to play on this board, like so we have the kind of like the Heimer, in my thought, like with the emissary board that you can fit on 8 is, you cut the Heimer, you cut the Elise, you cut the Leona, play 2 emissaries plus a Sork, and then your 6 Sork, 4 emissary. Like if you think about what that version of the board gives, like obviously, I guess if you just, randomly get like a Zoe here, you'll play 6 Sork, cut the Elise. But then like if you're at that spot, you can say, okay, I have Heimer, and then you also kind of have to cut the Garen, and so then you end up playing something else. I don't know. You get the Ezreal back in or something like that. But you can say like, okay, I'm playing like 4 Academy here. That's giving me some items that are like honestly going on irrelevant units. This Crown Guard is going on to Leona. The Deathblade would end up going on to Ezreal. Like one item Leona, one item Ezreal is doing nothing. And then it's also like the Academy bonus isn't really buffing units that matter. We're investing so hard into sorcerers. Why then are we playing Academy that, they're, I mean, unless we're, going to play around this Lux the entire game, which I don't think is going to happen. And then she doesn't
Lux
even.
2 carries, dude.
Yeah. I mean, she's not bad. She's escaped nerfs for too long. I think this unit is quite good, but probably not that good. So yeah, just like thinking, critically about like, what does, like what are these traits on my board actually doing? Academy here is really doing nothing, and so like I would 1,000,000,000% be holding on to it. Like we've definitely skipped Mbessa and Trist. Like I would 1,000,000% rather be like cut Leona, cut Heimer, play Trist plus Mbessa on this board. And it's even like Conquer for Swain and stuff like that. It's like even a little bit extra there.
I probably even hit 2-star Mbessa.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I saw you skip at least 2 there. Maybe more.
You're gonna love the direction this goes.
Okay.
That's completely sarcastic.
Okay, I'm excited regardless.
Okay. So Anomaly. My thought here is just I need some kind of front line. So I'm not
Yeah,
really
it's
looking for a damage anomaly.
and you kind of talked about your rolling thing here. It is pretty rough that we're in this spot here. Where like yeah, you kind of like you want frontline, but like frontline anomalies in this comp it feels so bad.
Yeah.
I would have preferred to just like roll a little deeper to find that first Zoe, or like even like in your spot, you might even just like I mean anomaly Nami feels so bad, but it's just like when in my experience, when I have placed an anomaly onto Swain, I have not enjoyed it very much on like frontline Swain especially. I feel like frontline Swain is just so bad. The later you get into the game, like he falls off a cliff. He's like pretty good stage 2. And then like, decent stage 3 if you have 2-star Swain. And then yeah, like once you get to like, I mean, you even see like this is our Swain with our tankiness anomaly, and that's a quirky one. Like he just got wiped. Like the Swain unit just does not feel very tanky, and this is a comp where really you just play for quick fights, and you play to just like blow up the enemy board with like stuff like Zoe and like eventually LeBlanc and things like that. And so like I am almost always leaning towards taking just like damage anomaly onto Zoe here, or Garen. Like Garen can take the tank anomaly. That's another thing that's like nice about playing vertical Heimerdinger here. That's the other nice thing about playing like 4 emissary type stuff, is that then you get to play around that. Okay, so yeah, like I mean we end up hitting Heimer 2 here, and so he just like kind of goes on the board. But I mean like once again, like I mean you hit a 2-star carry, which is like cool, but like I mean we don't have items on him.
Anything really.
Yeah, and like
he has no items. He has 1 synergy. It's just kind of like
exactly. Like you kind of just have to be like you do sometimes have to suck it up and just like not play flex in spots like these, because like are you gonna itemize this Heimer? Like no. And now we've spent all this gold, and yeah, you immediately sell him for Mel, which I think is absolutely the correct call here. And oh my god, there's a Warwick as well. Okay, I mean I would definitely get that in as well next round, but yeah.
This is I probably should have sold Leona for this.
Yeah.
Like I was not thinking about that.
I mean it was like you were running out of time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. My other thing is in here. So, I'm at 16 health. I'm either 1, maybe 2 lives if I get a close fight. And right here you can tell I'm like, I probably should have rolled again to see if I can get the Nami 3 and then sold Swain. But I think my thought was, if I sell the Swains, then like it was a very much 1st or 8th mentality, and then I go up against this guy.
Yeah. And this is kind of just like it's partially scouting, and then it's also just kind of like just kind of having like the context of the lobby. But like if you're scouting more there and that guy is in your pool, I mean yeah, you know that you need to roll it to 0. And so that's like I definitely think I mean I feel like this is a common thing. Every TFT player can be better at scouting, but like I think this game, like scouting 2-1 before you didn't end up like committing to visionary, but just getting that extra information is good. And then like also scouting from kind of like it's almost like macro in TFT is like understanding your spot in relation to the lobby. I mean you had a Mel on your board. If you can survive around, or even just get to like an extra Mel cast, like maybe you can eventually get an extra life. If you can hit Nami 3 there, and like I mean you were -2 there, so you'd have to kill 3 units, which is still, I mean it's pretty tough there versus that board, but I mean at least give yourself a chance to is like what you should absolutely be playing for in that spot.
I'm pretty sure in that game I was also like, I feel like I'm a stupid, like I'm distracted by things. I have like YouTube videos and stuff going all at the same time. So I think that game was actually like there are games when I scout perfectly fine. This Dom one may be another one, but there are games when I scout perfectly fine. That one I definitely did not. And I think it's probably because I just had other things going, so I just wasn't quite paying attention.
Yeah, I will. I mean, it's a common thing in TFT, and at the end of the day, we're there's like you can count on your hand. Okay, maybe you can't count on your hand, but there is under like 100 TFT players like play TFT professionally as their job, and so most TFT players are just playing for fun and to optimize enjoyment. So if you like having a video on your second monitor while you play, I won't tell you that you can't do that. But if your main goal is to optimize climbing as quickly as possible, and you're like, well, why am I hard stuck? I mean, I think that's a pretty easy adjustment to make, to say like, I just focus in on the game. When I'm playing, I'm all I have is like music on,
Yeah.
and like it just there's. I think a lot of people think TFT because it's an auto battler, you can just kind of like zone out during the fights and like multitask and do other stuff, which like is true to some degree. But there are a lot of micro decisions to be made within TFT. A lot of just like understanding what's
Yeah.
going on in the lobby and like figuring out like your line and optimizing your line. You can do so much with your time. Like I never watch a YouTube video while I play TFT, and I always feel like I have something to do. Scouting the lobby and
Yeah.
like figuring out what my line should be, or like looking at stats on the other monitor to like figure out what like I should, items I should be building and stuff like that, or like the best unit in my comp, all this kind of stuff. Like I think there is, TFT is a deep enough game that you don't. I mean, I
Yeah.
personally don't think you need to do that, but to each their own.
No, no, it's not good for sure. I can see the games where I do worse because of that kind of stuff. But that's another thing though is I don't ever really look at stats of
Hmm.
items and things, which I probably should, but I just kind of don't. Just kind of go with feel.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are weaknesses to relying too much on stats, and so like, if I had to choose like a problem to have, I guess I would prefer relying on stats less than relying on stats too little than relying on them too much. But then you do also like just miss out on a lot of stuff, like just a lot of
Hmm.
context for like what a strong item is in general in TFT, or figuring out like what the BIS is like when you're playing like a reroll comp or something. If you play enough or you watch enough, you can kind of get that information. But I do think like when I'm playing, if I'm ever like playing a comp for the first time, I will like absolutely just pull up the stats and be like, okay, like what are the standout items on this unit in this comp, which is just that doesn't mean that I have to like turn my brain off and be like, okay, I'm always going to build these 3 items, which I think is a trap a lot of people fall into. But
Yeah,
just just giving yourself the context of like what is strong, I think is really helpful.
I got you. We got time for
Yeah,
this one other game. Okay.
yeah, we can kind of
So
like speed through this one a bit.
this one, I you won't see it because I have the screen switched, but it's labeled Enforcer Low Roll,
Okay.
and it this is one of those like I feel pretty bad when I have to pivot out of something.
Hmm.
Uh, this was definitely one of those games. So, but the start felt pretty good until it didn't. Oh wait, this is not in 2x speed. Can I do that here? I should be able to. Yes.
Surely, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah, and so like I mean, it doesn't have to be an enforcer game yet, but you have some enforcers, and you're even thinking about like potentially making gold in this spot here. I will see what the rest of our items look like. Did you check Academy item yet?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well,
I probably do here in a second, but
okay. Yeah, because definitely good to check. I mean, yeah, you have 2 solid openers. You have this enforcer opener with a lot of upgrades for that, and then you also have like this like Sorks slash Academy type opener. I mean, honestly, the Scar is likely to not get played.
yeah, I
Okay.
should have made gold here, but
Yeah, I think
no,
okay. You
okay.
do end up making gold there. Yeah, let's go back and look. I mean, I think you definitely saw Scar there. The only awkward thing about the enforcers line is that like your items are like not amazing
Mhm.
for it. But I mean, you can honestly make these work. They're not too bad. Um,
I
mhm.
one quick thing is
Yeah.
especially with this was previous patch as well, so this is not the current patch, this is the
Okay.
last patch, and I very highly like favored the scrap enforcer kind of starts.
Yep. Yep.
So the enforcer with the trundle is always just something that I'm like, this is gonna be really good if I can get one of these 2 starred.
Yeah.
So
I think that's very reasonable.
oh, I did
Yeah,
lose.
let's go
Okay.
back and look. I mean, these are some interesting options because, like, okay, so I guess like kind of like a few things. Like iron assets here, when you already have like when you're 4 component opener, it's a little bit worse because like you're not like you could just make 2 slams here. The only thing is like, are you really going to make 2 slams here? I mean, you can make Hodge Morello, which if you want to play towards Enforcer and like it's a good item for Vi, a good item to like get heal cut down the line. So like, yeah, I don't mind rolling over that. And then yeah, like One for All, I don't love. You're leaning towards 1, 2, 3, which I mean, I think is pretty reasonable in this spot. Like gives you decent odds of hitting 2 stars that matter. Maybe you even high roll an Enforcer here, and then you can play 4 Enforcer. It's like once again, it's like we're in a portal that gives us a bunch of gold, so it's like I value this a little bit less. But I mean, I think your other options are pretty bad, so I don't mind leaning towards 1, 2, 3 here. And then when you rerolled these and you saw, I mean, Spoils of War, Superstars, I don't think we're taking. I mean, I would have looked at just 1, 2, 3 there, just because like, I mean, I guess you're leaning towards Spoils of War here, which I mean, my hesitation with Spoils of War is that we don't actually have upgrades at this point, and like we're pretty likely to hit them, but it's a decent chance that we don't. And then yeah, you end up taking Silver Spoon here, which I think, I mean, I would have preferred, like you ended up. I mean, you didn't know that you were rerolling Silver Spoon for, or 1, 2, 3, 4 Silver Spoon, but I would just prefer 1, 2, 3 over Silver Spoon, because like this now puts you in this kind of awkward spot where like we actually have all these 1-cost pairs that are like really, really valuable, but like we're already level 4 and then we're going to be level 5 soon. And then like it makes it a little bit harder to hit them, which like, you get so much value out of like hitting stuff like a Maddie 2 and like a Step 2 and stuff like that here. So yeah, I mean, I think this is probably second best augment in this spot, and now we have a TF.
That was my thought. That was like when I did the spoon. That was my thought, was higher odds on getting the 4 spoon.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
having the pairs probably was the better, and that should have been my sign, because there were 2 people already running Enforcer as well with like items slammed.
yeah, it's a bit scary. I mean, you at least have the extra gold from Silver Spoon. I mean, yeah, being contested is never great. And what
He
is
said,
that?
"What is what is that insane opening?"
I mean, your opener is pretty good, and you're gonna be really rich. I mean, your spell looks great. I mean, I honestly like you're contested, but like you're contested, but it's not. I mean, especially for the person who took combat medic, it's not that much of a worry, because they're gonna be stuck like rolling for step 3 for a while. And so like you can probably get to, I mean, at least Vi 1, if not Vi 2 before they're actually rolling for it.
Yeah, I wasn't actively that worried at this time because of my opener compared to them. But it didn't like, and I'm sure there's plenty of things that I could work on along the way through this game, but they both end up hitting the higher unit before I did.
Okay. Yep.
So it felt pretty bad later.
I think Bo's good here. Another TF is great. We only downside is we can't really make gold this round, but that's fine. Guys, Urgot too. Well, it's a little scary, but maybe it'll be fine.
Most Eric's though, it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. It does feel a bit bad that we like end up kind of like splitting our items here, like Hodge onto Maddie, Morello onto to TF. Yeah, I mean, I would look at damage and like if they're close enough. Looks like Maddie dealt a little bit more than TF there. And we sold, that was Camille pair that we sold there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just hold that Camille pair.
I just don't value Camille too highly, like without items. So I think I just prioritize the econ over holding the pair.
Yeah, it's just like you're gonna be playing Camille the entire game though. If you end up playing Enforcers, which is definitely like the line that you want to take. And yeah, I mean Camille 2 with no items. I mean she's not gonna carry a fight, but she's HP on the board. She's gonna do a little bit of damage. Like it is actually pretty nice, and it's also like if you end up like as far as like next levels on this board, I mean, there's a lot of different stuff you can do, but like, if you end up hitting Camille 2 and then you get like a powder onto this board, like it just fills out the traits really nicely. And then you can actually like, if you hit Camille 2, you can move the Hodge over to her and she's going to be like a much better Hodge holder than the Maddie. So it's also just like, oh, this is kind of weird. But the other piece of it is you have the Hodge onto Maddie. You want the Camille to like potentially be item holder. You're gonna play her the entire game. Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, the other thing that I was thinking is that like making a little bit of extra gold doesn't really matter when you get to like the higher econ thresholds. Like going from 30 to 40 is way less influential than going from like 0 to 10, just because there's not much further for you to snowball, like 0 to 10, like that 10 gold might snowball you to get to, and we can pause on Augment here. But yeah, like going from 0 to 10, like that might actually be worth more than like 1 gold, because like getting 10 might allow you to make 20, might allow you to make 30. Going from 0 to 10 might actually be worth like 2 or 3 or 4 gold. Whereas going from 30 to 40, like that's almost always just going to be 1 gold, because like, best case it's going to be 2 gold, just because there aren't that many like thresholds past that. So that's like another thing is that when you get more gold, I am more down to like hold extra units because it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially in Scuttle Puddle.
yep.
Looking back at it now, it's like it's free econ anyways. So
Yep, exactly. Okay, augment here. I mean, I tend to like health as wealth in this comp just because it's omnivamp onto your Vi, which is nice. And I mean, your other two options are not options that I'm really that excited to take generally. So I mean, that's what I would lean towards here. Yeah, it's overheal. I mean,
okay,
uh-huh.
so here's my thought. Right, is
Okay.
especially and again on the last patch, I valued TF way higher than I should have, so I wasn't thinking of Vi at the time
Hmm.
when I was going through this stuff. I was very much like, okay, what can help my TF do things now?
I mean, I think
Um,
TF's a
so
beast. I think he's great, but what is overheal even? I mean,
yeah,
this is more an auto attack based. Like like does TF really get that much value out of this? Like, no, not really.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I even think you roll into salvage bin there. It's actually like a pretty decent option here. I would definitely take salvage bin over overheal here. Salvage bin over the other one is like a little bit harder, I guess. But like the problem in your spot is you have a trillion items open right now. Like you really want to make at least something. Like I would at least just make a stair axe here, or if you're thinking about TF, then you could make like a Nashers, I guess.
mhm,
But like you want to make something here. Like yeah, just having 5 components open. I guess even if you want to not count the spat, then like 4 components open still. Like we need to make something out of these.
yeah. And this was the next part where I was like, okay, well, I think my enforcer game is kind of screwed up a bit with him hitting the
Enforcer +1 and
yeah,
but like once again, like I mean, you're not gonna hit TF3 this game. Like he's holding some TFs on his bench. But like he's
yeah,
level 5, he's 6 steps at this point. Like he still has to sit 5 for a while. Like how much is he contesting your ability to actually get to like 6 enforcer? Like barely at all. So I don't think you actually have to worry about it that much. And yeah, I don't
did I roll there?
you rolled this round here, and then this next round you also rolled, yeah. Yeah, you rolled here.
Oh, I saw the.
Which I don't really like
I think I was just hoping for the TF2.
yeah, which like I mean I think we can just find TF2 on 8 is the thing though. Like you're really rich.
Mhm.
I mean, because of the portal and because we took Econ Augment start, you're really rich here. Why not just like your board's not like great, but it's I mean you're 82 HP as well. It's not like you're like I don't think you should all be like feeling the pressure of like, oh, I'm like really low HP here. I feel fine, especially because you're gonna spike quite hard at 8. And also like if you're afraid of, that guy contesting you and then like, this guy as well potentially, like you want to push 8 way like look at this guy as well. This guy is level 7, 30 gold here. Like we want to push 8 faster than these guys so that we can hit all the other stuff. But rolling on 7 like delays our ability to actually push 8.
Mhm.
Like you're 20 gold richer than this guy here after rolling once. Why not
Yeah.
just say, okay, I'm just gonna wait a couple of rounds and then I'm just gonna 4-1 it. I mean, you could honestly even like 3-7 it, and just roll before these guys and hit. But yeah, like I think. I mean, fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, like I think your line to play enforcers is still completely fine because like this is a thing, and like I don't know, maybe I guess we'll see what we end up doing this
So
game.
I could have gotten enforcer
Yep,
emblem here, but because of the double
the
contest, I
contest,
was
yeah.
like, I need to pivot out of this. So instead of going for vest, I went for the rod
Mm-hmm.
to switch into Twitch. Um,
Oh, like Winsu.
yeah,
I mean, it's not
was
horrible,
it was
but
not great in my head. I was like, I not a fan, but from how I felt at the time, I was like, this is just really bad.
yeah,
So again,
I really
rolled
think
more on
like
7
it's
because I was just paranoid.
it's like a comment. It's like something that like when somebody told it to me for the first time, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But I never really thought about it this way. It's like being contested is not, like obviously you don't want to be contested in TFT. But like if you're contested and you can roll before the other guys, what's the harm in being contested in this spot? If you
Hmm.
4-1 it here before anyone has seen a Vi, or like there's a couple of TFs out, but you're TF paired, you're gonna hit TF2. Like, what's the harm in actually being contested here? Like, there's really, like, if you're rolling before everyone else, there's no harm. And like, this is a game where you could roll before everyone else and feel, I mean, really, really good about it. So like, I think we took a line that was quite good for us, and pivoted out of it because you were afraid of being contested. But like, like if you were way poorer in this spot, if you had taken a different augment or had a different start, I could see this, but you're way richer than all the people who are contesting you. So like, that's
Yeah.
something you have to take into account. Like, when thinking about pivoting and like thinking about like, okay, am I contested here? Also think about like, can I roll before these people? Because like, if I can, then like you actually don't mind that much being contested.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
You do hit pretty nicely for this comp, at least. I mean, our items are a bit awkward. We kind of have to. I mean, our items are not bad. We just kind of have to pray that we get like some kind of slammable stuff for minions here. I mean, these aren't amazing, but they're not horrible. And then yeah, like see, like you send here at 4-1. Like, had we played Enforcer, like I think our game would be exactly the same, except like we would be rolling here before everybody else. Though honestly,
Yeah.
we kind of missed. I mean, no hindsight, but like we kind of missed on both comps. Um, I also think, I mean, items wise here, I don't think this Hodge can actually go on a Twitch, because I'm pretty sure this Twitch is going to do 0 damage. I think you just
Yeah.
have to throw this Hodge onto like Mundo or somebody else, and
Probably
then
Deathblade.
build a real like damage item. Yeah, I think Deathblade's fine, and then yeah, just
Uh,
in general, like Deathblade, or even like GS IE. Is what I was
yeah.
looking at as well. GS, and then leave the sword open and make IE GS IE, and then Hodge just goes on like random Mundo or something like that. And then like you can get to much better Twitch items, because this Twitch, I mean, he's just not going to do any
Yeah.
damage with this setup.
No, my thought was, I've had plenty of games where Twitch would just die to backline damage, and so I like having some kind of healing on him. But I guess the overheal should have been enough for that. I should have just gone like double Rage Blade IE or something like that.
Yep. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think overheal is like more than enough. Yeah. Healing. Yeah. Twitch is a little bit susceptible because you want to put him onto the experiment X, but I mean, still, I mean, you can even beef him up with other like experiment stuff like Urgot or Mundo, like
Hmm.
But okay, last augment here. I mean, cloning facility is awkward in this comp. I mean, a lot of these are pretty awkward. Like, bad luck protection
Hmm.
is like in some ways okay, because you have this like Hodge here and you don't have IE, but like you do really want your spell to crit on Twitch. So I don't think you can really take that. Malicious monetization. Like, I want a good combat augment here. Cloning facility is not great either. So yeah, I mean, none of these options are amazing. Scavenger is not great. Browns for life. I mean, there are ways to fit a ton of traits in this comp. The big downside is that like you have the experiment +1, so that makes you want to play into vertical. I mean, I guess you can just take portable forge and hope you get like a solid frontline item. Yeah, I mean, and then yeah, I mean that is
It's pretty bad.
yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm just like I have no
Yeah, I mean,
clue. So
yeah, I guess you do this. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
this is probably your best option, but I mean, that's pretty unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, yeah, those are pretty tough augment picks, I would say. Like, I mean, I think our spot is also just like a little bit desperate though, because I mean, we've made this our spot, so like there
Hmm.
aren't as many high rolls as there would normally be. Like, if we were playing towards enforcer
Oh
type
look,
stuff, then oh yeah,
the
there's our
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn, yeah. But if we're playing towards enforcers type stuff, then a lot of the the Prowler's Claw is great here, and then like a lot of the other stuff is good. But obviously we can't like pivot back at this point, and so now we're gonna. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. This just let's not talk about that. It's fine.
I mean, if you
If
want,
anything, it would have gone Rumble, I think. But
yeah, I think so. Or you could also, I mean, you could cut the rum. Yeah, I mean, you could cut. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you cut on this board just to get a unit to play this item. But okay, so yeah, now we finally pick this up. Yeah, I mean, these Elise items are a bit
it's
illegal.
illegal.
Yeah,
It's
a bit
yeah.
illegal
Mhm.
here. I mean, we had the Savika. I mean, Savika's not great, but like we could keep her for now. I mean, you should definitely hold on to like Vi there as like an out in this comp. Yeah, we roll past a few Vi's, and like just random Vi 2 with these items would actually do quite nice.
Yeah.
So like that's just keeping yourself open to the other outs would be good here, and also we need to just. I mean, you took this for LW for Kate. I mean, it's good to get armor shred here, but like I think you kind of just have to make IE on Twitch. But like the problem is we also put ourselves in this weird spot where now we're Winsu Hodge, so like we'd have to move the Hodge. But I mean, yeah, I think IE is still I mean, you can still make it.
Yeah, my thought was it was a Caitlyn one. If she had an IE, it'd be one IE. My damage is coming from Twitch anyways.
Oh, I would just put the IE onto Twitch and then move one of the items over. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just that was my.
Oh, Eagle Eye is pretty good here. I liked Eagle Eye, the one where they get extra range if they don't move, they get AD. Because like that's the main thing you're lacking right now is we don't have any AD on Twitch.
Yeah. Good.
And like he's like a carry that ramps up as well. Like he like when you get later in the fight, when we're like 10, 16 seconds into the fight or whatever, he has a bunch of AD and he stacked up all these Gwinsus. Yeah, seems good. Like this is like ideal, I would say. Like I don't know what else we really. The finisher's fine as well, but I think the other one was better, and we had to roll to hit this, and also we might have rolled and just hit nothing. So yeah, also yeah, I haven't been talking about this, but yeah, I mean I like this setup here. I don't think the Nunu one really does very much at all. I mean, getting the experiment one in the hex is nice, like the emblem, and then like Twitch, and then yeah, I like this a lot better than the Nunu there.
Yep.
But okay, yeah, I mean
I just die.
Yeah, I mean. Your board is like, I mean, your board's not great, honestly. Like, we found the Twitch too, but we didn't really find other upgrades. I mean, we're basically playing down. Rest of it. Well, I mean, you pivoted out of your Excite opening, though. You had that Excite opening, and then you pivoted out of it.
It's like, my fault. I got scared.
I can guarantee you'd have a better placement this game if you had played Enforcers. I don't know exactly what it'd be, but I mean, it'd definitely be better than...
Not 8th.
Yeah, looking at 8th here. Then you make the IE, but I mean, we should just... like swap this over to Twitch, and then yeah, I mean you have to just roll it to 0 here and hope you find like at least 2 or something like that. Just anything on this board to save you from an 8th is the goal. Yep. Okay, I mean
no saving this.
Yeah, I mean it's a rough one. Yeah, okay, you beat this guy. Nice. I mean that guy's probably pretty weak. Okay, maybe. I mean honestly, there's a world here where like you go like 6th, and like if that happens, I think you're like, you know what? I mean, obviously, we could have done a lot more this game, but I mean, going 6 here would be pretty nice compared to, not going 6. So
we'll
see.
Luck, though.
Oh, okay. We fight this guy. I mean, I wonder how this fight actually goes. Oh, kind of poorly. Yeah, we just don't have the damage to get through anything here. Okay, and then it is an 8th. Rest in peace. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing this game was like not like baiting yourself into pivoting when you have more gold than the people contesting you. Yeah. When you have the advantage.
Pressure. Yeah. Looking back, definitely that's I see that for sure.
Yeah, like you it's actually just so it's like I know it's like a little scary because like you're contested, but it's actually like pretty chill in that spot, and like I think that cost us a lot. And then like so the item slams were pretty awkward. Like I think we could have done better if we knew we were playing into Twitch. We could have done better with our items because our Twitch. Yeah, I mean Gwinsu Hodge Twitch is just never going to do any damage.
Yeah. Nope. Fair enough.
Okay. Well, I'm typing up some notes for the session to send over to you, and I will also here. Let me stop the